The illusion of control, the path of resistance. What is control? A common word in our lives, an idea that governs much of our actions. We seek control over the future, over others, over our own feelings. The human mind, anxious for certainties, creates the illusion that controlling is the only way to peace, to comfort. But what if everything we know about control is wrong? The desire to control arises from the need for security. We live in an unpredictable world, and thus we try to lock the future in a box. We want everything to happen according to our plans, our desires. We want to control time, life, and the people around us. And when things don't unfold the way we imagined, we feel fear, frustration, despair. But does control really bring security, or does it simply increase our resistance to the natural flow of life? Allan tells us that when we try to control, we are merely opposing the flow of existence. He reminds us that life is not something we can mold like a piece of clay. It is a river, a wind, a dance that follows its own rhythm, without haste, without agenda. When we try to control everything, we create barriers, blockages, and our energy stagnates. Resistance is born from a lack of trust in the present moment. We try to grasp the future, but what we do is move further away from the now. Like a river trying to escape the flow, resistance makes us struggle against the current of life. Yet, true freedom does not lie in controlling the river, but in flowing with it. Control is an invisible prison. The pursuit of control, while it may seem to give us power, in fact, takes away our freedom to be. Every attempt to control is in fact a denial of what is. It is the denial of our nature, which is by essence mutable, unpredictable, and alive. If you stop fighting the current and allow yourself to flow, you will discover that there is no need for control. Because when you surrender to the present, you find everything you need. The paradox of manifestation. You already have what you need. What would your life be like if you knew that you already have everything you need to be happy? Most people live with the feeling that something is missing. They seek an object, an achievement, a person. They accumulate. They seek. They desire. But what if everything you seek is already within you? This idea seems contradictory, doesn't it? The idea that instead of searching for something outside, we should look inside. Many believe that happiness lies somewhere far off, that satisfaction and fulfillment are beyond their reach. The search for the something more becomes a vicious cycle where the feeling of lack is never filled, no matter how much you have or achieve. But what Allan proposes is different. He tells us that true manifestation is not about attracting something from the outside, but about aligning with what is already inside of you. The idea of manifesting something is not about seeking what is missing, but about recognizing what is already present in your life. You already have what you need. What you desire is already a part of who you are. This is the great revelation. The secret is not in the relentless search, but in the recognition of what is already present. The emptiness we feel is not an empty space waiting to be filled by external things. The emptiness is a reflection of our disconnection from the present moment, from the truth that already resides within us. True manifestation happens when you stop looking for what's missing and begin to recognize the abundance that already surrounds you and exists within you. Carl Jung speaks of the importance of individuation, the process of becoming who we truly are. It is not about finding something outside of us, but about integrating all the parts of our psyche, recognizing the totality of who we are. When you align with this internal totality, manifestation happens naturally. You don't need to seek anything. You already are the totality you are searching for. The frequency of reality, how our emotions create the world. If you could see the world through the lens of your emotions, how would it appear? Most of us don't realize the profound impact our emotions have on our perception of reality. We think things happen outside of us, but in reality, we are the ones who shape our experience through our emotions. Emotions are not just psychological responses. They are, on a deep level, pure energy. Every emotion is a vibration that resonates in our energy field, and, by doing so, influences everything around us. When we are in a state of anger, fear, or sadness, our vibration becomes dense, heavy, and the world around us reflects this. But when we are in a state of peace, joy, and gratitude, our vibration rises, and reality becomes lighter, more fluid. Allan used to say that reality is a reflection of how we feel about it. The world is not something that is out there, but rather a projection of our internal state. How we see the world depends on our own vibrational frequency. When we adjust our vibration, we adjust our life experience. Neuroscience has already shown that emotions have a profound impact on our magnetic field. Our emotions create an energetic field around us that, in turn, influences the world we experience. So, to change reality, we must begin with an internal shift. If you wish to manifest something different in your life, Begin by adjusting your emotions. Start by changing your internal frequency so that the external world can change too. It is not a matter of thinking positively or forcing a change, but of allowing the truth of who you are to manifest in your energy. When you align with your true essence, reality around you begins to respond. You don't need to control what happens outside of you. Instead, focus on aligning with the truth of who you are, and in doing so, the world around you will be transformed. Silence is the answer. How to hear your true voice. In a noisy world full of voices, opinions, and information, how can we hear our own voice? Silence, the pause between moments, is often seen as something empty, something to be avoided. But what if silence were, in fact, the key to everything we seek? Watts teaches us that silence is not empty, but rather it is the creative space where all answers can be found. Silence is the empty space where ideas can be born and manifested. When the mind is full of noise, of incessant thoughts, it becomes incapable of hearing the truth. True learning happens in the stillness, in the acceptance of the present moment. What we are seeking is often found in silence. The answer is not in words, in explanations, or in long speeches. The answer is in the space between words, in the void between thoughts. When you allow yourself to be in silence, without the rush to fill the emptiness with something external, you begin to hear your true voice, the voice that is not shaped by the expectations of the world, but by your own essence. The practice of silence is simple but powerful. By spending a few minutes in absolute silence, you begin to perceive what is inside you. It is not about trying to control your thoughts, but about observing them without attachment, without judgment. When you do this, you begin to access a deeper truth, a wisdom that already resides in you. The connection factor. Why solitude is necessary for expansion. We live in a society that fears solitude. Solitude is seen as something negative, something to be avoided at all costs. But what if solitude were, in fact, the door to expansion? What if it was in solitude that you found the answers you seek? Daisetsu Teitaro Suzuki, a Zen master, teaches us that solitude is essential for spiritual practice. Only when we are alone can we truly hear ourselves, without external distractions. Solitude is not about being isolated, but about coming into contact with the inner silence, with our true essence. Many times we are afraid of solitude because we believe it will leave us empty. But in reality, it is only in the space of solitude that we can expand. Solitude offers us the necessary space to grow, to connect with who we truly are, without external projections. When we accept solitude, instead of seeing it as something to be avoided, we begin to see it as an opportunity for growth. Solitude allows us to connect with our own truth without the need for external validation. It is when we are alone that we can hear our true voice, without distractions, without external influences, reprogramming the mind. How imagination defines your reality. Our inner world is a reflection of what we believe is possible. The human mind is incredibly powerful, capable of creating entire realities from images and thoughts. Imagination is not just a tool for creating fantasies, it is the key to shaping reality. Neville Goddard, a master of spirituality, teaches us that by visualizing and feeling the experiences we desire, as if they were already real, we are literally reprogramming our reality. The subconscious mind does not know the difference between what is real and what is imagined. Therefore, when we visualize our ideal life, we are creating a new reality, a reality where everything we desire already exists. This power of creation is not something out of reach. It is within each of us, waiting to be awakened.